And a very pleasant good morning to you all. Big Paulie coming to you 9:30 on Friday morning, the 24th of April. Our first bout from RCW South in the ring, Pepper Gomez and Medico Assassino. Pepper Gomez 80th on the RCW rankings. We're getting closer to getting that simple rating system implemented, but it's probably going to take a few more days yet. And Medico Assassino is the former Southern and Indy champion who is 51st despite going 1-8-2 in his career. So we have this match started. Might have to do some starts and stops as I have some business to do this morning. Might have a visitor who's dropping off something. So the last few live streams have gone well. So my stock is back up, and I just ordered Cat 5 cable, Ethernet that will reach from my kitchen to where I keep the computer by the TV monitor. And I use a TV monitor as my computer monitor, and off we go with this bout. Gomez 0-1 lost to count out to Johnny Valentine many moons ago, and Assassino 1-8-2 has lost 2 in a row, but he's won 2 battle royals, so he's been champion twice. Last loss was to Ricky Dozan. He loses a lot of his bouts by DQ. And he was the first Indy champion, the honor that Lou Thez now holds. So we'll see what we can do here. And just commentate it for you and edit this and get this up. Assassino going for that carotid choke, which is not working, but he's leading halfway through the bout. Now, did I remember to... Yeah, the cut rule is waived. It's a 30-minute time limit. Both these guys could use the boost in the rankings, and it's Assassino doing well. And he wins by countout. And I forgot to set the Lucha rules, but you know what? That's fine. Only the second time Assassino has won in RCW that wasn't a Battle Royal. It was one of those finishes that WF gives you that where it looked like the one man has it won. And he stays out of the ring too long, allowing Assassino to beat the count. So Assassino is going to move up. We will do the math on this. Assassino goes 51-26. He loses 3 points for the inferior strength of schedule, so he's at 29, or he'll be fighting for the 29 spot with Jerry Lawler. And Pepper Gomez will lose 25 spots, but gain 3 back, so he goes to 102, and the next time he competes, we just move him up to 100. So our next bout will be a team we haven't seen in RCW for a while, the Medics, who are also known as the Interns in 70s, 80s tag team wrestling. They are 54th, so we bumped them up to 50. And they will take on the team of the Flying Redheads. Let's see if I can spot them here. Yes, they are 19th. And that is Billy Red Lions and Red Bastine. So we will get this bout up and running. I will try to do something tomorrow. Tomorrow being Saturday, since I do not have a church function. The interns, if I am not mistaken, had a manager by the name of Dr. Ken Ramey, but the medics, who are also the interns, haven't won a belt, so they don't get a manager. That's how we do it in RCW. You got to earn your right to have a manager. The medics are 0-1 and 2. Let's visit with the medics in a while. After an 0-1 and 2 start, while the Redheads also return at 1-2 and 1. The way the ratings are in RCW, it's a matter of who you beat is how far you fall or how far you rise. And you cause the loser to fall the same number of spaces that you move up. Kind of like how Title Bout Boxing 2.5 worked. They kind of had a similar system that I'm just kind of trying to emulate here till I get the simple rating system done. Then we can get back into rosters and whatnot. So this is the South, and let me just take a moment and save the listing here. There's 114 South. The one thing that drives me crazy is getting a system, rating system that is correct. Well, you really don't have that option. Oh, we have a cut on Red Bastine. He is stomped on by both interns on the arena floor. They're not the interns here, they're the medics. And that is a double count out. A double count out at 8:11. So that led to some continued brawling, and both teams are going to move up about 1/8. 55, 150, 130, a 2.5 star match. So let's do the math here. 19 would not quite be 2.5. So the Redheads are actually going to lose a place because they would get bumped up 2 spots. 19 divided by 8 is not quite 2.5, so they would gain 2 but lose 3, so they go to 20, which might work out perfectly. The medics at 50. Okay, let's do the math here. 50 divided by 8 is 6.25. So they would go up to 44, and they would gain 3 spots. So they go up to 41. They're the 41st best tag team in RCW, which is kind of like the. There was an old song on Dr. Demento about the 142nd fastest gun in the West. So, kind of the same sentiment here. So 2 bouts down, 6 to go. And we'll go to our next bout, Carlos Colon, not to be confused with Carlito Colon, his son, he is 20th, and he has been rather dormant for a guy in the top 20. I think he has had a bout before with Dr. Wagner Jr., but he got paired up with him this week. Yeah, he's 212 right now in the rankings. He fell and fell hard, so he goes up to one. We bump him up to 100. And if Cologne wins, we just bump him up to 10, and we don't do the strength of schedule because you can't lose points. Actually, no, he would lose 8, but that would still be a gain. So we would keep him. Yeah, it would count. It would count. Cologne with that scarred forehead of his against Dr. Wagner Jr. I like my Spanish accent. Wagner Jr. Oh, yeah, this should be a mismatch city. It's 173 against a 128. We haven't seen Cologne in a while. But he kind of fits that rough draft of what the South should be. In fact, both these guys I don't think we have seen in a while. Junior is 1, 2, and 2. So Cologne hasn't lost in 4 bouts, but he's had 2 time limit draws. He went to a draw with Jack Dempsey, Triple H, and Ultimo Guerrero. So this will probably be a nice little nuance bout because Cologne is Puerto Rican and Dr. Wagner Jr. is luchador. So our first 2 bouts only went ring time of 26 minutes, 27 seconds. Realistically, this would not be a card where you would have 8 30-minute bouts at least, and then you would have 3 60-minute bouts, although the last bout has no time limit, which is going to be Buddy Rogers and Bruno going at it for the Brass Knucks title. So we're just cruising along here. And if I wasn't showing you this would be about the speed I would go. I just kind of look for things like cuts and whatnot. Wagner Jr. is doing well. But both these guys we haven't used in a bit. Supplé by Dr. Wagner Jr. Do you remember the game Matt Mania? And I think Carlos Colon was in there as the Coco character. Because back in the 80s, we had to make everything racial. No figure 4. Going down to the last 10 minutes, it's neck and neck. There was like a Road Warrior character and the Golden Hulk, which was a Hulk Hogan ripoff. Matt Mania, which had the announcer pointing to go to the match, and you see that index finger get real big. This is looking like a draw, folks. And we'll give a little bit of a nod. Oh, headbutt could do it. Got it. Now we're gonna say the ref was. We're gonna say the timekeeper wasn't paying attention. We're gonna give the win to Cologne because the time limit did not expire on my play-by-play account until after the move. So we'll give it to Cologne. A headbutt at 30:19. Wagner is furious with the timekeeper. Dr. Wagner Jr. will have to get a bunch of lawyers, try to overturn this, but it's going to stand. There's a furious Dr. Wagner Jr. chases down our timekeeper. So that's 2 wins now for Colon. He's up to 5 matches in a row. Give him a push here in the South. Okay, so he's going to move up 10. He's going to move down 10 to go to 110. But he would gain 8 spots for the reach. So he's at 102. Next time we use him, he'll be at 100. So, and Cologne would go to 18. Because he gained 10 for the win, clean win, but he loses 8 for the kind of risky schedule. Okay, on to bout number 4. El Solitario is 63. He has not fared well in RCW. I could tell you that without looking at anything, just based on memory. And Wahoo was in a feud with Hulk Hogan. Conspicuous by his absence. He's 72, but he attacked Magnum TA and knocked Magnum TA out of commission for a week. So we may see these two hook up. In a future pairing, El Solitario kind of looks like the Kato character from what was that show? Bruce Lee was a lesser character. I think James Franciscus was the Green Hornet. I'm thinking it was what it was called. Franciscus, who was in Planet of the Apes and one of my favorite space movies, Marooned, with Richard Crenna and Gene Hackman. Wahoo's a heel here. As he decided to get involved with Magnum TA, who was just passing through the South. So both these guys in rebuilding mode. And let me just put down Wahoo and TA for next week in the South. Nice little grudge match. Regardless of what happens here, Solitario 0-2, while Wahoo is 1-3-1, and he got a win in that feud with Hogan by DQ in a strap match. All right, boys, let's have at it. But it's interesting because Wahoo has heat and Solitario is somebody who just hasn't really gotten it going in RCW, so I thought this would be a good placing for our 4th bout. And that might be my first disruption. Nope, it's ESPN. It's ESPN with one of their mailers. Reminded me about the hockey and the basketball playoffs. Yeah, don't forget to watch. Why would I want to watch? We got apps. I got a sports odds app, and I could find the result in a few seconds. It's my little world of sports. I think is better than realities. Sometimes. Hurricane Rana. That might do it. Oh, close. Shave. Solitary. Oh, Brass Knucks. Doesn't work, but it got a pin attempt, I think. Solitario trying that Hurricane Rana again. That is Wahoo was a big man. Still holds the punting record at the University of Oklahoma, longest punt ever, I think. It's close. It is advantage Solitario. These two might go to a draw, which would be the best result Solitario has had. A near pin from a clothesline by Wahoo. He goes for it again, doesn't get it. Arm breaker, you're not going to be able to get Solitario around Wahoo's arm. Final 3 minutes. Thinking this is going to be a draw, which is going to move it, both these guys up 25%. And there it is, a draw at 30 minutes. Good bout. And we'll keep both these guys going. 78. I'll give a point, extra point to who had the most balls, which was Solitario. Solid bout. 5-4 on pin tries. In the south. Okay, so that's done. Let's do the math here on both of these guys. Okay, the 63 for El Solitario is going to move him up to 16 places. He's going to move to 47. He would lose one for the strength of his opponent, being 9 lower than him, but he gains the point back because he had more pin attempts. Wahoo at 72 would go to 54. He would gain a point, but he lost a point on pin attempts. So he goes to 54. We got a grudge match coming up between Mr. Wrestling 2 and Dr. Wagner. Dr. Wagner attacking Mr. Wrestling 2, who we saw in the North region. And there's a little dispute over who is the best man behind the mask in RCW going right now. Wagner 102. Wagner. I sometimes call Dr. Wagner Sr. because there's a Dr. Wagner Jr. So he's at 45. Tried using some of these guys 2 times, 3 times, but it was last week and it was leading to injuries. So I'm just back to putting winners through and kind of working the system down anyway. So that's Mr. Wrestling 2, Johnny Walker against Dr. Wagner Sr. A battle of masked men. Okay, it's a grudge match, so that's a special stip, no time limit. And you get a 5-point bonus for winning a grudge match. So should that be Mr. Wrestling 2, he's going to move up tremendously. And we'd give him half the distance on the 5, like a football penalty. Now Wagner is 4-5, having lost his last two. So this is a no time limit. If we have a winner, he'll get a little bonus for winning a grudge match. This is not a bad ranking system, but I just want something that just focuses on head-to-head matches, strength of schedule. So we're 5 minutes in. Action is not that fast yet. Wagner kicking Wrestling 2 out of the ring, saying, don't come back. Well, he's got to come back. We're at 10 minutes. We will go till there's a winner. Tabla Marina, whatever that is, because I do not know. We continue on, and Wagner has lost by countout. Another win for Mr. Wrestling 2. Since it was not a pinfall win, it'll be 3 spots, the bonus. A close bout, 99-98. 2.5 stars. So 2 is red hot right now. He is 5-0-2. The win is going to move him to 9, and the 3-point bonus, because he didn't win cleanly. There was a technical win. He goes to 6, so he goes into the top 10. He'll be in the top 10 somewhere. Probably a little lower, like maybe 7 or 8. And Wagner lost the grudge match. You know what? I did that wrong. I forgot to factor in that Mr. Wrestling 2 was facing somebody 3 lower than him. So he goes to 9. Then he gets 3 points for winning a gimmick match, but he loses 3 because he faced somebody 33 less than him. So he goes 12-9. So the threes cancel each other out. Wagner would go to 48, but he cannot get the 3 back because you have to lose points if you lose. So he will just stay at 48, and that's how we'll finish that. Okay, we're going to take a very brief break so I can get some water, which you won't see because I'm going to stop tape, and then we'll be back with our championship matches. So stay tuned. All right, on to the championship matches. We have our next match in the ring. And if Eaton and Connery win the titles, then they get to use Jim Cornette, although he is pictured in the photo there. So this is for the Southern Tag Championship. Dos Caras and Mir Máscaras won the title over Arn and Tully Blanchard, who held it for forever and a day, it seemed. Their win-loss record a little sparse at 1-1-1. While the Express come in at 2-1-1. And if you're a heel tag team, it doesn't take much for you to climb the ladder and get high rankings. Okay, I think we did this already. Off we go. And the Express have won 3 in a row, or they have a 3-match streak without a loss. So we may be seeing new Southern Tag Team Champions here, but we will just let it be until it happens. So we're off, one fall 60. Biker Week here in town as I hear a bunch of motorcycles go flying by our busy road. Leesburg, which is the town just west of me, has a bike week. Technically, I live in Leesburg, but if I have a problem and I have to go to police or fire department, I go to Lake County. So it's kind of like, I've said before, it's like unincorporated Las Vegas. Like if you live south of downtown, then you're not actually in Las Vegas. You're in a town called Paradise. You have to go to Clark County to get through everything. I lived out there twice. And so it's kind of the same deal here. So the Express doing well at the 12.5 minute mark. Almost at the quarter pole. Backbridge pin by Mill. No. Does not get it done. Express looking to break through, and they do not on this occasion. It's a count-out win for Dos Caras and Mil Máscaras. They win by count-out at 16:56. But this just continues to show you that the Express can get it done. They dominated, I wouldn't say dominated, but they were the aggressors. So, yeah, the Express were looking for a foreign object at ringside. Maybe, Corny left a tennis racket somewhere around. So there you go. So let's do the stats on this. I think that's our last. Yeah, that's our last tag team bout. So we could give you the rankings up to the minute. So that's 375 for Dos Mil. But they lose a point because they were facing somebody six. Well, no, they gain a point because they were facing somebody 6 slots ahead of them. So they go to 10. Okay. The Express go to 13 and they lose a point facing somebody 6 spots in front of them because you round that up to 1. They're at 14. So they fall out of the top 10 here. So let me just update the numbers. So the top 10 now, Heart Foundation number 1, which means they could get an automatic shot at the Kangaroos for the world belts. Rock and Roll Express number 2 because they held a technical win over the Kangaroos, who are number 3. Brody and Hanson number 4. Scots are 5. Deuce Sticks are 6. The Funks are 7. The Briscoes, who are injured this week, are 8. Flyers are 9. The Blackjacks are now your number 10 team. The Briscoes can't really do much because Jack Briscoe is now the Western champion. So on to our next bout. It's going to be El Santo at number 6. And number 1, Paul Jones. I use his heel card, but it's been doing surprisingly well, so I don't want to jinx it by using his babyface card and making him a tweener. Yeah, Jones has been flirting with the top 10. He's at number 11 right now. So big bout for both of these guys. Jones earned the right to compete after recent results. Santo has been the Southern champion after beating Medico Assassino a few weeks back. We used the Paul Jones heels card. You use his babyface card, he looks like a Nazi. So I'd much rather use his heel card, which actually kind of looks a little more distinguished. So 1 Paul, 60 minutes. Santo's record has been pretty good. 8-2-3. Jones has not been too bad for a heel, because a heel will lose with more frequency. He has more ways to lose, really. That's 3 bouts. While Jones is 3-5-6. So let's do some thinking on the tag situation. Let me just think here. We're going to have Dos and Meal take on the Medics next week. Just going to write that down. And we will have the Midnight Express up against the Flying Redheads. We'll just crisscross. So that's 2 of the 6 bouts for next week. And Paul Jones has faced a who's who in RCW: Magnum TA, Andre the Giant, Bruno Sammartino, Dick Hutton, who has had a good run for a while in RCW regions. And off we go with this one for the Southern Tag Championship. Not for the Southern Tag Championship, the Southern Heavyweight Championship, of course. Oh. That little mini cough you heard was a cue for me to get a drink of water. Flying tackle by Paul Jones. No. Santo is very good. In some of my other feds that I have run using Wrestling's Finest, he's been world champion. There's talk about who's going to be Nick Bockwinkel's next challenger, because he just faced Andre the Giant and won by countout, and he faced Stan Hansen and he shockingly won by countout. And Jones is cut. Jones has a cut at 10:45. I'm thinking it's going to be Danny Hodge who will get the crack, who is the junior heavyweight champ, but we'll have him battle Bockwinkel, because the world title is the biggest title, right? But Jones has responded. Jones responds, sending Santo into a ringside table. And we see blood. out of Santo's mask. That had to be a trick. I don't know. I've never asked anybody how a masked man could get color. Be a good question for somebody. Not too long ago, as Jones with a pen attempt missed, I was reading Jody Hamilton's book. Pretty good autobiography. And if you know Jody Hamilton, he's not too shy about telling you he's smart, and you can see the intelligence off of him. Another guy who I always thought was super smart, who was a heel, was Bob Roop. And I know he was doing a podcast up until recently, and El Santo got counted out. So Jones gets a rematch. Jones gets a rematch, and it might be a no DQ bout. I don't want to do no DQ because we have a few cage matches next week. Just mix that up. 20:51 was the time, and Jones did well. He accounted for himself well. So we will have Jones going against El Santo next week. Double X handle by number one. And Santo down for the count outside of the ring. So set up a Santo Jones no DQ bout for next week. And let's do the math. Okay, we will have heavyweight, no DQ, Santo, number one, Paul Jones. Do the math here on these guys. Jones will get 11 divided by 4 is 275, so he would get 3 spots, and he gets one more spot for facing El Santo. That is 7. Let me do that again, because I don't think I did that right. Okay. 11 divided by 4 is 275. So, I had it right. I should trust my math. So that's 7 for Paul Jones. That's his new number. And Santo will lose 3 and 1 more because of the strength of schedule. So he falls to 10. But on to our main event. And this is an old rivalry renewed back in the early days of the WWF. Buddy Rogers was declared the first champion because of a falling out. The Northeast promoters, led by Vince McMahon Sr., had with the NWA. Lou Fez had a bout with Buddy Rogers in Toronto in early '63, and he basically told Buddy the belt was going with him, and we could do this the easy way or the hard way. Rogers opted for the easy way. It was a one-fall match, and usually the World's Championship was 2 out of 3. But after that happened, and after they took the title off of Rogers, the Northeast promoters just got together and said, we'll start our own promotion. Just the Eastern Seaboard, and Rogers was the initial champion. Of course, they fictitiously said he won a tournament in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, but the first man to win the WWF title was Bruno Sammartino, and that was a work too because Rogers had had a heart attack prior to the bout, And so they had Sammartino win the title like within a minute. One hold, the backbreaker, submission hold, and that was it. So Buddy Rogers coming in with his fourth defense to go to 4-3-1. Well, Bruno has had his up and downs. But let's see if Bruno could just focus here. He doesn't have to worry about going berserk because if you go berserk, it's legal. So you'd think this bout would be up his alley. And I forgot to get the rankings. Rogers is 8. Bruno is 23. Doggone it. All right, off we go with this World Brass Knuckles Championship matches. All matches are defended. No time limit, no count out. No time limit, no DQ. And Buddy Rogers is off to a good start. Oh, I take that back. It is Bruno that's off to a good start. I beg your pardon. We're 5 minutes in. Bruno's still leading. Seven minutes, 8 minutes now in, and Bruno's opened up a big lead. So we could see history being made in the South. Canadian backbreaker, just the submission attempt. It was a submission that won him the WWF title, and he held the title for nearly 8 years, 7.5 years, a little more than that before he lost Ivan Koloff. He did other things for 3 years. Knee strike to the head. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. They had a babyface match at Shea Stadium with Pedro Morales that went 75 minutes to a draw, and both men kept it clean. So a barrage of foreign objects. As Rogers bleeding. All of which Buddy tried to induce using. So at the 15-minute mark, our champion's in trouble. Champion is in a lot of trouble, but he can't save himself because it's no DQ. He's just going to have to fight it out. Big punches by Bruno. Bruno has opened up a huge lead, so you're thinking now it's a matter of time. Bear hug. Nope, not there. Nearly 20 minutes in. And Bruno is just piling on the pin attempts and submission tries. Not there. Canadian backbreaker. Wouldn't this be a fitting end? But not to be. Has a clamp hold on. That really wasn't a forte of Bruno's. It's looking like a matter of time before Bruno wins the title. But Buddy busts him open at 23:36. Hoping to turn the tide. Russian leg sweep nearly gets it done. Another bear hug. Knee strike to the head. Oh, and Buddy is just kicking out. He is now kicked out 8 times. Hip toss, that's not going to get it done. When it's something not complicated, it's usually something simple that does you in wrestling's finest. So the tide not really turning all that much. Both have been busted open, and there it is. Back elbow. It was something simple, and Bruno is your brand new brass knuckles title holder. It was a good bout. 4.5, but not 5. So we'll have the, no, it didn't get 34.5 stars. It got 4.5. So Bruno is your brand new, it's his first championship in RCW, brand new brass knuckles title holder. And that'll do it. Let me just do the totals. So Bruno at 23, he goes to 12, and he gets 2 for the strength of schedule push, and we make Bruno the champion. Well, you went to, okay, that's not correct, though. 23 to 12, 23 to 12. And then he gets 2 more. So he should be at 10. Okay, and goes to 18, 21. And he loses his crown. Okay, we will sort and filter, do the custom sort. And there it is. It's now Bockwinkel, Hansen, Hodge, Magnum, Hoffman, Jones, Mr. Wrestling 2, Harley Race, El Sando, and Bruno Sammartino in your top 10. And let's just also do the Brass Knucks title. Oh, I never put Buddy Rogers in here, which was, I think, week 10 in the South. I'm going to dig into this. I think it was week 10 in the South where he lost the title. Nope, wasn't week 10. Look at week 11. We got that title updated. Yeah, no. Was it week 12 maybe? I figure it has to be. It was either week 12 or week 8. Yep, it was week 12. Okay, so week 12 South. So Rogers held it 2 weeks. 12 South. Bruno Sammartino. 0114 South. And we will format that out a little bit. There. Okay. So now I'm done. And let me come back and tell you, I hope you enjoyed my little thought process as we go through these RCW cards. probably won't do the West until Monday. We're going to try to get that game of the week in for the Time Travel League and do another doubleheader of college basketball because in real life, the college basketball season of 2026 is over with, and I would like to get that done as soon as possible. So, hope you enjoyed it. This has been Big Polly. Godspeed, God bless. We'll do it all again soon, and bye bye for now, everybody, and take care, please.